Second hour on this Friday and wrapping up the week on halftime on a blustery day in the natural state where I am in Pittsburgh. It is raining, snowing about an hour to the north. Goodness gracious. Happy right now to have Arkansas wide receiver Trey Knox on the show right now on the phones. And we really appreciate your time. Trey, thanks for calling in and being a part of the show today. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing? Thank you for having me.
You're absolutely, great. Where are you? Are you calling in from home in Tennessee, or were you able to stay up in Fayetteville during this shutdown?
I'm in Murfreesboro right now. I just wanted to get back and, visit my family. Haven't seen them in a while, so felt only right to come home.
And I know that finals just stopped or just ended, so your schooling has come to an end for the year. I guess that means congratulations for getting through that first year of college. What have the last 2 months been like? And I want to erase the football aspect of it first. What has it been like being a student remotely as you've been finishing up this first year of classes?
Well, it's been kind of tough just because I was in a public speaking class, and so that class itself was just particularly challenging. Just going online, so now we're doing videos, and I don't know what it is, but it's like harder to talk to a camera than it is to talk to people. I would say that class, yeah. I don't know what it is, but it's just way harder to talk to a camera.
Now, and I agree with you about this, and I do the radio show remotely, not in the studio with my guys, so I usually am looking into a camera talking to them. It is a lot more difficult, and I wonder, does that also translate to the coaching that you're getting from Sam Pittman and his staff? Because, I know they're staying in touch with the players as much as possible during the shutdown, and installing an offense and installing defense and schemes and everything. But is it as difficult to be coached remotely as it seems it was weird to take classes remotely?
Well, I wouldn't. I think our staff is doing a great job with that. We meet almost every day, and I think that we're learning the offense. We're going through it, and I think we're learning enough ball plays to win us games. So I trust and believe that our staff will have us ready.
So let me ask this: how do you learn plays or learn an offense or a scheme without having the ability to practice it? Because I know reading, and having things explained to you are one thing, but it has to help so much more to understand the scheme when you're actually able to get on a field and run the plays. Has that made it a little more, I don't want to say the word difficult, but just a different way of learning an offense?
It has, because that repetition standpoint is not in effect right now because, we didn't get any spring ball in, so we haven't ran any plays. So just knowing it on paper will get you ahead when we come back anyway, so that hopefully you know what you're doing once we start running it with people in front of us.
Speaking to Hogs wide receiver Trey Knox here on halftime. Trey, what in the short period of time, kind of playing off the question what Phil was just talking about, got new offensive coordinator Kendal Briles coming in. Just in the short period of time, what have you learned about this new offense that we could be seeing here on Saturdays here soon?
Oh, we're definitely going to be moving fast, very fast. So that's his key to his offense is tempo. And I feel like we're going to be taking a lot more shots. So we're going to stretch the field, and our splits are going to be wider. So we're going to move people out. We're going to stretch them out, and we're just going to try to attack them down the field.
Do you think that would be the biggest difference between his system versus the system that you first learned last year in Chad Morris, or is it something different? I guess what I'm asking is, what do you think the biggest difference from Chad Morris's offense to what you're learning now with Kendal Briles?
Definitely the tempo. We're practicing going fast, and it's really, really fast and faster than I ever thought it would be. And definitely the way we go down the field and the options and the routes that we get, whether we can stop or go or do whatever. So I would say just those three things are the big differences.
I think one big difference that you'll see this season, how important is the addition of Felipe Franks coming to Fayetteville? Because you've got a veteran quarterback that graduate transferred in, and he's made a lot of plays. So how important is it to you as a wide receiver that you've got a good, solid veteran quarterback coming in Fayetteville next season?
It's very exciting because we know that Felipe has the experience and he's won in the SEC, which is the hardest conference in the country. And I trust that Coach Briles will have him ready, that his ankle will be all right, and that he'll be able to make plays for us.
Have you been able to catch a ball from Felipe yet?
Oh, yes, sir. I see why he got drafted. That boy can swing the rock.
Yeah, I know. I mean, there were baseball teams that were interested in him, too. You know, I mean, the guy apparently can throw 94, 95 miles an hour. So it's gonna come into that into those two hands of yours awfully fast.
So, yes, I'm ready for it, though.
Good. Yeah, well, I'm sure you are.
Perfect answer.
So let me ask this. I think that Arkansas fans feel pretty confident in the thought that the pass catchers on this team are very good, very talented. You've got a good set of running backs. You got to feel pretty good about Franks at quarterback. But let me ask, do you think the wide receiver group is the best position group on the team, or is there another group that stands out that you think the wide receivers have a little bit of time until they reach that level?
That's a tough question. I would say we're all pretty talented. It's just the depth point of view, how many bodies you have in each room. And I really think that we're all pretty much even. Quarterback room's good. The receiver room is great. The tailback room is great. So, I mean, I think we're pretty stacked on offense.
Who do we hear in the background there? Is that one of your younger siblings?
Yes, I told him to be quiet.
No, it's okay.
No, it's perfect.
That's okay. That's one of the things that I think people enjoy about the interviews that sports is doing during these shutdowns. We're seeing what coaches' living rooms look like. We now know what Bill Belichick's dog looks like, and we hear the voices of your siblings in there. So it's bringing people closer to the athletes. Have you enjoyed watch? I mean, what are you doing when it comes to being a sports fan right now? Are you watching old games? You watching the NFL draft? You watching NFL Network? What are you doing as a sports fan?
Definitely watching the Bill Jordan series that's on ESPN. I don't know about anybody else, but and also, yeah, I did watch the draft. Pretty interesting because that's actually the first draft that I've actually sat down and watched, because sometimes it just takes too long and I get agitated and I have to go do something else. But actually watching the draft and seeing the process is pretty fun. And really just been watching old game film and just cutting up football plays, see if I can understand this offense. And that's about it for me.
I was wondering if maybe Traylon Burks was able to convince you to start watching Western movies yet, because I know he's a Western movie buff. He's your roommate. Did he get you turned on to watching John Wayne and John Cassavetes movies? He's watching any of those yet?
I mean, I've watched a few Clint Eastwoods, but that's about it.
So he couldn't convert you fully. So if you're watching The Last Dance, and I think everybody is, we talk a lot about that show on this show here. Do you come down on, and we'll ask you about the greatest of all time debate. I'm an MJ guy, even though I'm not an MJ fan. You go with MJ, you go with LeBron, or do you have somebody else in mind?
See, I think this is a tough question also, but MJ is definitely the GOAT.
Well, and why
LeBron
would you pick
might
him?
Pass him.
Yeah.
Just legacy standpoint and the way that he was a competitor. I mean, defenses were way tougher back then than they are now, and I mean, he was successful and he won. So.
What stands out for me when I'm watching this is how difficult he was on his teammates sometimes in practice, because he had a certain standard that he wanted them to reach. So I think he could be hard on them sometimes. As an athlete, and you're a highly conditioned athlete with professional aspirations, how would you handle an older teammate like that who is established but is very difficult to work with? You try to, I would assume at that point you try to do everything you can to reach the standards that athlete is calling for.
Yes, sir, most definitely. You want to surround yourself with greatness, and you want to model greatness. So if a player like that is telling me what to do and how to be the best that I can be, I'm going to listen.
Well, it's fun talking football with you here, Trey. I really hope we're going to watch you play, in the next 4 months. I want to see how this team does. My last question to you, because we might be, a year away from a vaccine for this virus, which has shut down not just the USA, but major portions of the world. And we talk a lot about the idea of, will we have fans inside the stadium? But I think sometimes we discount the thought that the student athletes or the players have to be safe as well. Would you be nervous playing football without a vaccine to COVID-19?
Honestly, I would have to say yes. Just because football is really one of the only sports that you literally have to touch someone every single play. So just being face-to-face with the person, and like if somebody bleeds or just stuff like that happens on the field, somebody coughs, somebody sneezes, just all kinds of things, and we could have an outbreak again, basically.
Yeah, so it seems it's got to be just as important, even more important. The most important aspect of sports returning is for the athletes, professional athletes or amateur student athletes such as yourself. The safety of them has to come into mind first and foremost. Do you think that's an accurate statement?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay.
So, I mean, without the athletes, college sports don't happen. So I think if we are protected and we're safe, then I'll definitely play.
Well, I hope that that's the case, Trey, and really enjoy the conversation with you. We appreciate a piece of your time here. Thanks for calling in and being a part of the show, and good luck in the near future. We look forward to watching you on the field.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You got it. That's Trey Knox, Arkansas rising sophomore, joining us here on Halftime. It's fun to talk with him. I think, and I appreciate the honesty of being.
He was very. Yeah.
I don't see how you can't be nervous playing football without a vaccine. Doesn't mean you're not going to play.
He was completely honest, and you could tell that he meant everything he said, and he wasn't sugarcoating it. I mean, I would be nervous too if I was him. So
got to test him. Testing. You want football back? Get the tests manufactured quickly. Okay. 877-377-6963 if you want to react to that interview. Halftime's back after the break.